Hey everyone, one more day of health videos. I'm really sorry that I couldn't be here today. So we are going to discuss abstinence on here, and I'm going to make another video to answer some of the questions that you guys had, and then one for girls that discusses more about their periods and answering some questions about that. So girls, you can click on that. Boys, if you want more information, you can click on it too. And I'll post those on this page also. So we're going to go through abstinence today kind of quickly, and then we are going to do a review for your test, which is tomorrow. I will be back. I will be here on Tuesday. Don't think your test is getting pushed back. It will not be. So be ready for it, study for it, make sure that all your notes are done. If you finish today, go through the quiz and write down in your notebook anything that you weren't sure of. Try to find the answer. Those questions, or questions that are almost identical to them, will probably, very likely, be on your final, okay? Keep your notebooks up to date. Make sure that they are here tomorrow, because if they're not here, you can't use them. So make sure you bring your notes tomorrow to class and that they're up to date with everything that we've discussed so far. All right, abstinence. All right, so we'll start with the definition of abstinence. All right, abstinence is the conscious, active choice not to participate in high-risk behaviors. So some examples include no sexual activity before committed relationships or marriage, which is what we're kind of talking about right now with our puberty lesson. But it also includes other high-risk behaviors, things like experimenting with drugs and alcohol. It would also include things like trying some of those ridiculous internet challenges, right? Like, I don't know, swallowing Tide Pods, or trying to surf on the top of a car, or other things that you might see on the internet, drinking boiling water. Do not, like, those things can result in death, like for real death. So not a good choice, not something that you want to be doing, and you're abstaining from those. You are choosing not to participate in these high-risk behaviors. So that's what abstinence means. So not only is it avoiding sexual activity before you're ready for children in a committed relationship, after you're done with your schooling and you're into adulthood, that's when you would want to be thinking about perhaps starting a family. But abstinence also includes other high-risk behaviors as well. Okay, and if you didn't notice, no warm-up or wrap-up today, so just kind of getting through the notes. Make sure they're down in your notebook, okay? And there's a quiz, so make sure we take the quiz, all right? Okay, back to our notes. A risk behavior, so in case we weren't sure what a risk behavior was, any action that might cause injury or harm to you or others. So like we talked about with drugs and alcohol being a risk behavior, right? Same thing with doing any of those ridiculous internet challenges. That's a risk behavior. Sneaking out of your house, not telling your parents where you're going, that's a risk behavior. It can cause injury to you. It can cause injury to somebody else. Okay, those are all considered risk behaviors. Walking on the side of the road at night with no flashlight or no reflectors, that's a risk behavior because you could potentially get hurt doing that. Okay, not riding in the car without putting your seatbelt on, that's a risk behavior. So any action that might cause injury or harm to you or others. All right, so we're going to talk about how to avoid getting yourself into risky situations. How do you stay away from situations that might have you make a bad choice? Okay, so say no. I know that's a really hard one, but saying no to something that makes you uncomfortable and offering another option. Okay, so I know that seems super hard to do, especially now when we talked about with puberty, you're really interested in making your friends happy, and you're really interested in doing the things that your friends say to do or that your friends are doing. It's okay to say no. You should say no. There's nothing wrong with saying that seems like a really bad idea. Like, I don't think that's something I want to participate in. Like, I would so much rather do this instead, right? So instead of sneaking out of your house and going to some party where there's no parents, hey, why don't we go ask your parents if they'll drive us to the movies? So much safer, so much better. Parents know where we're at. All kinds of good things happen from that, right? So it's okay to be like, I'm a little worried about that. That makes me nervous. And if the people are really your friends, they're going to listen to you. And they might be feeling a little nervous too. So it might be just that you verbalize it. They're kind of like, yeah, you're right. That's probably not the best idea. Okay? So don't worry about saying no, offering another option. Okay. All right. Before you go on a date, know where you are going and what you will be doing. And that can be true of not going on a date, going out with friends, going anywhere, right? Where you're going and what you're doing. So that way an adult can know, and if something were to happen or if you got into a situation that you couldn't control, somebody knows where you are and somebody knows what you're going to be doing, right? It's important that you communicate well with your parents and any trusted adult, especially before going on a date with someone that you don't really know that well. It's really important that you let them know, hey, we're going to be at this movie theater, we're going to be watching this movie, and I can be picked up at this time, right? That just gives you that assurance that somebody knows where you are and somebody knows what's going on. And if something were to happen, you have that outlet. I need picked up, they can come and get you, right? Avoid places where alcohol or other drugs may be present, okay? When you are going someplace where alcohol and other drugs are, you are putting yourself in a situation to be pressured into trying something you don't want to try, right? If you don't go at all, that pressure is not there. But when you are there, it is extremely difficult to say, no thanks, especially if everyone else there is trying the alcohol or trying the drugs. You might really feel this intense pressure to try what your friends are trying or do what your friends are doing, okay? So it's so much better to just not even go. Plus, when you are drinking or you're under the influence of certain drugs, you are way more likely to do something that you would not normally do, like sexual activity, okay? So it's just not a good idea. Avoiding those places is your best option, okay? Going on group dates with other friends, avoid being alone on the date, especially in middle school, right? Sometimes you get into a situation where you're uncomfortable, and if there's other people there, they can kind of help buffer that situation. They can kind of stay between you, and they can kind of, pull you into a group or pull you to the side if need be. So if you're with your friends or you're with other people, it kind of makes it a little bit less tense and a little bit more enjoyable for you. So it's okay to go with friends on a group date or a double date, right? Especially until you really get to know the person. Once you get to know the person, then you can go alone somewhere. But it's a really good idea to start off getting to know someone with other people around, right? When your friends are there, if there is something going on, you can ask one of them to, hey, pull me aside, or hey, can your mom come pick us up? And just things that kind of give you peace of mind and put you at ease, right? All right, so there are some benefits of abstinence, and not just abstinence from sexual situations, although that is kind of what we're talking about. When we're going back to this avoiding the risky behaviors, and this says at the top here, I have a hard time reading it this way. It's better for me to go this way. Say no to something that makes you feel uncomfortable and offer another option. If you're dating someone and they want to hold your hand and that makes you uncomfortable, it's okay to say that. It's okay to be like, you know what, at school it makes me really uncomfortable to be seen holding your hand, right? Around my parents, it makes me uncomfortable if you put your arm around me. It's okay to tell the person that you're dating that things make you uncomfortable. If that makes them mad, they probably are not a good person to be dating, okay? Hand holding, hugging, kissing, any type of body contact might make you feel uncomfortable, and it's okay to say no, right? As 6th graders, you're just really starting to maybe have romantic feelings for someone, right? And not everyone is there yet. Some people might not be having romantic feelings at all for anyone, and that's totally normal, okay? So as you're feeling this out, as you're trying to decipher between whether it's a friendship or maybe a romantic feelings, it's okay to do things as a group. It's okay to tell someone, look, this is a little bit too much for me. I'm feeling a little uncomfortable, right? Tell people where you're at so that if something is pushed beyond your limits, you have a way to get home or a way to get out of that situation. it's okay to feel that way. And I've said this before. I have a 6th grade daughter, and she's not quite there yet. She is not to the point where she's interested in having a boyfriend. And she does have some friends that are, and she does have boys that want to send her text messages and things like that and try to talk with her. But she's not there. And she feels uncomfortable if they push it too far. In which case I tell her to say, hey, you know what, we're just friends and I love hanging out with you at school, or, we can all maybe go to this movie, but not us by ourselves. Like that's just too much right now. And that's okay. It's normal. Everyone develops at a different time and a different rate. So it's totally okay to have that uncomfortableness right now. And it shouldn't make you feel awkward and make you feel like you're not where everyone else is. You're perfectly normal right where you're at. Okay, so I need you to all understand that. Okay, benefits of abstinence. All right, so this is not just abstinence from sexual activity, but from all things, okay? You will have more respect from your peers, right? I'm going to talk through these. So more respect from your peers, higher self-esteem, more trust from your parents. And then down here, this one says, studies have shown teens to abstain from sexual activity, do better in school, are less likely to have depression or commit suicide, and have healthier peer relationships. So, more respect from your peers. And this is true of abstaining from all things, right? If you're that kid that's like, ooh, let's go here and get drunk, let's go here and drink, or I'm okay smoking marijuana or trying this thing, like, people are going to look at you like they are a partier. They don't care about their education. They don't really care about their friendships. All they care about is going to this party and having this fun time. And it sets you apart from your peers. You don't form as close of a relationship with people because the only thing you bond over is that party time. Okay? So it really affects the friendships that you can make. So you will have way more respect from your peers when they're looking at you like, oh, she's always nice, she's always helpful, she gets her homework done, she answers questions in class. People have a lot more respect for you when they're looking at you that way, comparative to when they're looking at you like, oh, if you're looking for a good time, she's the person to talk to, right? They don't trust that person. They don't confide in that person. They probably don't even really respect that person. It might seem like you have lots of friends and everyone wants to hang out with you, but they're not treating you like a honest, true friend because they're not quite sure if they can trust you because you make bad decisions in other areas, right? So you're definitely going to have more respect from your peers when you're practicing abstinence. And because of that, you feel better about yourself. So you have higher self-esteem. And your parents trust you more, right? So you have more trust from your parents and they let you do more things. They're giving you more responsibilities. And that's a good feeling, right? So when your parents trust you more, when you're building strong relationships with your friends, and when you feel better about yourself, of course there's less chance of depression and suicide, right? Of course you do better in school. You're more focused on your schoolwork. You're taking it seriously, and your friends are there to support you, right? Friendships are one of the biggest factors in achievement. Surround yourself with people who want to achieve. Surround yourself with people that are going to bring you up and not pull you down. And evaluate yourself. Are you someone that's pulling someone else down? Are you distracting them during class? Are you encouraging them to come and drink with you? Like, what kind of person are you? Are you pressuring a boyfriend or a girlfriend into something they're not ready for? Evaluate your life, right? And decide what path you want to be on, okay? Your teachers are here to help you. Your friends are here to help you. But this is the time, right? This is the time that we're in that adolescence phase. We are going from childhood to adulthood, and this is when we need to, for ourselves, make good choices and make good decisions. And we make mistakes, right? Everyone makes mistakes. So if you make a mistake, pick yourself up, say, whoa, we can't do that again. Get yourself on the right track and get going, right? Don't let the mistake hold you back. Okay, so we're going to lastly talk about some consequences of early sexual activity. So obviously unwanted pregnancies. When you're young, you are not quite ready for a baby. Babies are very difficult. They require a lot of work and a lot of money, and it is hard. So you need to wait until you're in a committed relationship and you're ready to bring a baby into this world. Transmission of sexually transmitted infections, right? feelings of regret and guilt, loss of self-esteem and self-respect, ruined relationships, and corruption of character. Okay, so